Hi, Cancer Sun and Rising. Welcome to your April 2022 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So in April, we still have some energy in Pisces, actually a great emphasis in Pisces, even though we're now in Aries season. But let me talk about the Aries energy because Aries is a cardinal sign, just like you, just like Libra, and just like Capricorn. And these represent the four seasons and the four angular houses in astrology, and which is the first, fourth, seventh, and 10th houses. And these are supposed to be very important houses in our life, representing important areas. And Aries for you is your 10th house of career. So a new moon here could certainly be new developments in career matters. This is going to be fairly close to Chiron. I really should look this up before I press record, but I think Chiron is around around 12 degrees at the time. So it will form a conjunction with Chiron, if I'm not mistaken. And so whatever new developments occur, it could have some kind of healing effect on you. Because with Chiron transiting this 10th house for the last few years, some Cancer people may have had a certain tender feeling or, sensitivity as it pertains to career matters. Their what we call reputation in the world, which is basically how other people classify you, your status. As I have said before, these things to me are not really important in life. They're still part of that matrix thinking, that hive mind that says, oh, you have to have this personality or this identity in the world, that if you go to a party, you can say, I'm a teacher, I'm a doctor, whatever. And that is not who you really are. It's just a temporary designation, obviously. But, this is especially when we're talking about the natal chart, we're talking about mundane astrology. So that is connected to the world and our place in it, And so it is a relative reality. It's not the ultimate reality. So we're just kind of looking at it from that detached point of view. So the 10th house can be the father too. So if there were some problems with the father, perhaps you'll have a new direction with him. And even if he's passed or, you do not have any contact with him, it's very important that that could still manifest for you, because sometimes those are the most difficult relationships, the ones we have with people who are no longer here or are we're estranged from, or we just don't know who they are, or where they are. It makes it more difficult in those circumstances because we can't actually try to improve the relationship, but we still have to accept the nature of it. On the 5th, Venus goes into Pisces. On the 14th, Mars goes into Pisces, the divine lovers. Now, this is a fellow water sign, and this is something that can be very and it's a trine to you, so it's very harmonious, coming from that 9th house, which is very expansive in more than one way. The 9th house is the house of higher education, for instance. And by the way, of course we talk about academia, but I would expand that, pardon the pun, to include areas such as this is the God house, so studying anything that involves the bigger picture of life, philosophy, and it could be spiritually infused philosophy, because, in truth, a lot of philosophy that I have looked at seems very intellectual, cerebral, and not really what we associate with being intuitive. It could be, inspired by the person's intuitive gifts, but I'm talking about it just seems a lot different than spiritual teachings or texts. So that's a possibility. And also traveling to other countries. Venus can mean that you have some connection with someone from a different culture, a different race, or I would say especially different ethnicity. Maybe you have been to that country before, or you've been communicating online and you're going to go visit that person. You may have money to travel, whereas before you may have manifest money to travel before you were not able to do so. And Mars can give you that sense of wanderlust that you just want to, it's kind of uncharacteristic for a lot of Cancer people, where you tend to be very tied to your home and not be that interested in the big old world out there, but you are for some reason. And by the way, there is a beautiful conjunction, very hopeful conjunction between Jupiter and Neptune in this house on the 12th of the month. And this can be something that the world experiences because these are two outer planets. But with you, it is the world. It's the ninth house. It's something outside of yourself. But and this may be if you are traveling, that you have some experience that ties you, that makes you realize that, and this is very good for Cancers, that there's a family of man. You know what I mean? Cancer people tend to be very close to their families, but they are not necessarily interested in being out there in the world and being that kind of well, I don't know if I'd say social butterfly, but just kind of like extroverted type of person. But if you are in an environment like an office place, you will treat your coworkers like family or want them to be your family. So it's not to say that you're just completely not interested in other people aside from your family, but just the ninth house is very overwhelming because it's just so vast, and that might seem a little bit nerve-wracking, but you embrace this for some reason. It's hard to articulate. Sorry about that, but we'll see how it happens. I don't want to make too much of it, but I think really this is for all of us to, for the last couple of years we've had a lot of challenges, and maybe there will be a development that brings us a feeling of elation, great hope for the future of humanity. On the 16th, another transit in an angular house. Full moon at 26 degrees of Libra. Libra is your fourth house of home and family, the house that you rule. So that means that there's something that comes to a head in some way, or some awareness that you gain about your mother, about your family of origin, your roots, or letting go of them. And it's interesting that new moon is in the 10th house. So it can be a letting go process. Maybe you have been raising children and now you're ready to go back and do career stuff. And it's an especially painful process for you because you may have, I'm just giving one possibility. Let's say you're someone who you thought you wanted to raise your children until they were adults or something like that. And you realize that there are things that you want to do out in the world. And maybe it is with all those planets like Jupiter in that ninth house, that you see that there is a bigger picture and that you want to put yourself out there for some reason. So it requires you to let go of certain things. And one of them is this, maybe the comfort zone of the fourth house. Maybe that's your place where you can feel your safe space. But sometimes that's why I don't like the term safe space, because it implies that there are other places that are unsafe. And the more that we indulge in this very human tendency, but to see something as dangerous and threatening and something as safe, then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, or it just reinforces that the world is a dangerous place. And this may be the month where you understand that that's not the case at all, and that you're able to more fully embrace some of the benefits of being out and about and doing things in the outer world. On the 19th, the sun goes into Taurus, and this is another area where you're going to start to see some stuff happening, because that was very technical, some stuff happening. And this is the 11th house, and this is another house that is very kind of more open-ended in terms of other people, because this is Aquarius's domain, and this is the house of friendships and groups. Now, of course, Cancers can also have friends, and you also can belong to groups, but this is especially interesting because you come into contact with people from different walks of life, especially since Uranus is transing this area, and has been for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, and will be for a few more years. This has been more exposure to people that you might normally not be interested in. Well, I shouldn't say exposure, but interest in. Like, you might actively be the one trying to make these connections, these alliances with these people. And given the energy in the 9th house and the Sagittarian energy, both of these have that same theme of broad-mindedness, tolerance, and that kind of thing. And that's something that it's like opening up your world in a certain way. Another aspect of this is, like I was talking about coworkers, you might treat your friends like family, but family is not always hunky-dory. Sometimes we have issues with our family, and this will make you more detached with Uranus in the 11th house, where you are going to be seeking more freedom in the next, and you have already been this way for the next few years, and not kowtowing to people as much, if that's something that you would normally do, and any groups that you belong to. Because Cancer people, you might volunteer places, and you might be the go-to person to bake a pie for the the church social, and after a while you feel like, wait, they're always coming to me. I want a little bit more freedom right now. On the 29th, Mercury goes into Gemini, and this is your 12th house. This is very meditative, not very rational. And I think Mercury prefers to be rational, analyzing, intellectual, not intuitive. But there you go. And this could even affect this is the dream state, so it could affect the quality of your dreams, maybe bringing out things from your unconscious mind, certainly. On the same day, Neptune goes retrograde in that 9th house. So this can be some kind of reality check or something that feels disillusioning, but just remember that whatever it is, it's giving you more information because you need it with Neptune. Neptune can gloss over things. So in the 9th house, if you had this fantasy of like you were going to move to a foreign country and everything was going to be sweetness and light. Maybe you're of retirement age and you wanted to retire somewhere. And then you found out a little factoid about that country that isn't that appealing. And it throws you into a bit of a tizzy because you think, oh man, my dream has just died. Well, no, it hasn't died. It's just making you more aware, and that will help you in the future, because even if you cross off a country off your list to visit or live permanently, you are going to be more wary in the future and do your homework. If this is like some kind of religious group or religion that you were following and or spiritual group that you were following, and something has come to light, a scandal, whatever, something, it's tempting just to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but it might just be that leader. It might just be that doctrine, but the organization as a whole is really sound. I personally have never found anything that I agree with 100%. So I don't think it's a tragedy if you discover something that you don't like about a particular belief system. It's just more information, and you can make it tailor-made to your particular life rather than trying to follow somebody else. On the 30th, we have a solar eclipse in Taurus at 10 degrees of Taurus that will be fairly close to Uranus at that time. And that's going to be in your 11th house again. So it's a powerful new moon here. And it may also bring up friendships for you. And sometimes that can even be a little bit disillusioning, because you may have been tolerating certain behavior and something may force you to take a look at it. And even though it's unpleasant, it is something that is important for you and your growth. And you're able to do that. So anyway, that's what I have for you. Oh, and also, something I didn't mention, the 11th house is a house of gains. So this is it's right next to the career sector. So these can be the gains that you have from your career, and a solar eclipse can be not only could there be an increase, but there could be like a spreading out, like somehow these gains are coming from more than one area that's career related. And who knows, maybe with that activity in the 11th house, you're going to make more connections, social connections that will enhance your future career endeavors. So that would be really cool. Okay, that's what I have for you, Cancer. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a personal reading, I've been promoting my deep dive reading because it's a double astrology reading, an hour of chart analysis with an hour of transits for the next 12 months at a special price. You can find out about that reading and my other readings at the link below. Take care. Bye.